Hi, my name is AOK. I like to make videos about anything that comes across my timeline. Sometimes that's sports, sometimes that's politics, sometimes it's just any, creator drama or any news. And today we're going to be talking about Jack Posobiec at Turning Point USA, as well as Tucker Carlson, and some immigration statistics that I feel like are a little bit suspect at best and racist and white nationalist at worst. So if you're intrigued into some of these comments, or if you want to see how I tie this together, then let's stick around and let's get right into it. So at a Turning Point USA event, Jack Posobiec and other speakers, including Tucker Carlson, pushed extreme anti-immigrant rhetoric, falsely inflating the number of undocumented immigrants to 40 million in the case of Jack Posobiec and 65 million in the case of Tucker Carlson, and calling for mass deportations, citizenship revocations, and bans on worker visa programs. Now, okay, so this topic is just, I'm going to try to broaden it to immigration generally, and I want to narrow in on the use of those numbers. So the population of Latin Americans in the United States is around 65 million, and the number of undocumented immigrants is around 13 million. So why would they use two fake numbers? Why would they just lie about the number of immigrants in the country? Well, they're not lying. They're trying to pass a subtle message, because in the case of Jack Posobiec, the 40 million number is the number of all non-citizens in the country, of all non-citizens. So he's saying, if you're not born here, you deserve to be dumped out. That's it. That's what he's trying to say. Which at the most charitable, you can say that, okay, he's being nationalistic rather than, racist, which is my opinion. But at least you can say that, oh, he's being nationalistic. But Tucker Carlson's own is literally based on race. There is no other interpretation of the 65 million number other than just race. He is saying there are 65 million Latin Americans living in the United States, and he has referred to them as illegal immigrants and wants them to be deported. There is no other way to interpret that other than being racist, other than giving someone citizenship status based on their racial breakdown. Simple. Period. End of story. The end. And it brings up, okay, maybe I can talk about that in the other sections. Sorry to interrupt what you were watching. I just wanted to remind you to like the video and subscribe. It goes an absolute long way. I only need a couple thousand subscribers to be able to do this full time, 3,000, 4,000 subscribers. I don't need that many views because of where I live. So just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. For you, it only takes a second, but for me, it makes all the difference. So I'll let you do that, and then, you could get back to this wonderful video that you were watching. Democratic figures like Zoran Mamdani and Ilhan Omar were singled out in speeches as not American, illustrating a push by some right-wing voices to redefine American identity based on race, religion, and political alignments. And then this also pushes towards them the open Islamophobia that has been going on in the right, where Charlie Kirk can essentially be like, hey, don't vote for this guy because he's a Muslim. I don't know when we've accepted this. I don't know if this is, obviously it didn't work. You're going to need, Americans don't think along racial lines in that way, or religious lines in that way. No American wants, even some of the most racist Americans don't want to believe that they themselves are racists. They want to see as they want an excuse to be racist. They want a reason why, another reason to vote for them. It's oh no, I don't hate him because he's black. I hate him because he's loud. oh no, I don't hate her because she's a woman. I just hate her because she doesn't have any of the same interests as me, and she doesn't join in conversations at work. So nobody wants to be explicitly bigoted. It's just bigotry is an innate bias that you have to fight against. But when you come out and you're openly Islamophobic and you're like, no, we can't have Muslims running the country, people are going to look at you and be like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like Charlie Cook was like, oh, 9/11 happened in New York, and now in New York, a Muslim wants to take over the city. And it's like, well, everybody understands that it's not the same people that blew up the city. Like, just apply that to any other racial group. And it's like, oh, well, 10 years ago, a Christian did a mass shooting, and now a Christian is running for president. You know, I mean, there's so many stupid angles you could take it. Like, people just don't buy it. And even though bigotry is a human bias, like people want simple boxable stereotypes. Even though people want simple boxable stereotypes, they still don't want it to be explicit. They don't want to feel that is why they're doing it. Critics argue that the right wing using xenophobia to deflect from wealth inequality and rising authoritarianism, pointing to Tucker Carlson's rhetoric as laying the groundwork for an ethnic purity narrative cloaked in economic anxiety. So I'll use this to talk about my issues with the current immigration movement in the first place. Now, obviously, I don't think this is relevant, but I think just so that you can know my biases and know the perspective I'm coming from, to me, I'm as close to open borders as you can get without, explicitly open borders. I think people should be able to move to whatever country they want, as long as they are able to live there without committing crimes, without being a burden. As long as they should be able to move to whatever country they want. I think border security should be as limited as making sure you're registered with the appropriate government, making sure your immigration status is up to date, and all of that. I don't think there should be any kind of stopping people from entering the country. I think if you're going to stop criminals from entering the country, then you should just stop criminals from entering the country. It shouldn't be based on where they're born, based on allegiances to other countries. I don't think any of that is necessary. If it's a security issue, then make it a security issue. Then, prevent bad things from happening. Then prevent, terrorist attacks from happening. If they're coming from a certain country, you check maybe specific things about them, do background checks. But I don't think citizenship status is what should be the primary driver of where you can and can't live, where you can and can't fly to. I'm very much against that. But then, ignoring all of that, let's say you are not for open borders as I am. Let's say you are just for you support legal immigration, or even you support legal immigration where you're against illegal immigration. I think the modern right-wing movement has completely lost the plot when it comes to the messaging on immigration. Because if you notice, they don't have one coherent tone that they take towards immigration. Like the one that Trump uses the most is crime. That is a security issue. And, that's why they use the Laken Riley, the girl who was killed by an illegal immigrant. That's why they used the fake story of the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings. If you don't agree with me that it's a fake story, you can go and watch. I've forgotten his name. Is it Jose? He has a bird logo. So he made a video breaking down of why it wouldn't make sense. If you look at the details, it wouldn't make sense to say those apartment buildings were taken over. It was a hoax pushed by the landlord. Anyway, let's not get too much into that. That's why Trump is focusing on crime, even though immigrants, both documented and undocumented immigrants, commit less crimes than citizens. So if you're worried about crime, then charge the criminals. Don't deport everybody. That's one. And then two, there's another group of people that are just like, oh no, coming here undocumented is unfair. It's unfair to people who are doing it the right way. It's unfair. Well, it's like, okay, well then make doing it the right way easier. Okay. Then the third argument is that, coming here is, we are interested in criminals, but coming here illegally is a crime in itself. So it's like, we are only deporting the criminals, and they're all criminals. So it's like, okay, then why did you even lie about the violent crime in the first place? Why even mention that? It's because they want to because the violent crime isn't the motivating factor. It's just the cope. So there is an underlying issue, and then the fourth motivation is also, economic prosperity. I heard that argument listening to something this morning, and the argument was that, immigrants take jobs, immigrants take resources, immigrants take, they even said immigrants take up traffic, which is, that's just purely like anti-humanist, anti-growing population, to just be like, let's get rid of these people so that there'll be no traffic on the roads. That's just insane. I don't want to draw parallels to Nazis, because I don't think those allegories are helpful. But I think that is as flimsy as a Nazi argument. So let's even ignore the fact that statistically all those things are not true, right? Undocumented immigrants pay more in taxes than they take in resources from the government. Undocumented immigrants on average help the economy, and in most price ranges, in most salary ranges, they do not hurt employment. They only hurt employment for low skilled jobs. That's it. So, but ignoring all of that, let's say it's a legitimate reason, they don't all agree on that. Like, it's just used as an excuse. So, that's why all these narratives, all these four arguments, you always hear them interchangeably. And the main reason is vitriol. The main motivating factor is I'm in pain, I'm angry, and I want to get rid of these people. That is the main feeling, and that's why none of these four ever truly sticks. You will never see somebody that sticks to any of the four, because if they stick on any of the four for too long, like Trump has, the narrative of like, oh, we're getting rid of criminals just doesn't work, because there aren't that many criminals. As you can see, he's deporting. People are seeing him deport innocent people, and they're like, wait, hold on. You said it was about crime. Not that they can do anything about it. Like, he's a president, and the courts aren't able to challenge him sufficiently. Congress isn't interested, but the fact that people are seeing, wait, no, we wanted gang members. You said gang members. These aren't gang members. These are farm workers. Even Joe Rogan said it. So, it's always going to fall apart. The argument is, if they choose any of these four arguments, it's going to fall apart. That's why they always go interchangeably. And that's why if you argue immigration with anybody, if you see any discussion around immigration, it always falls back to, well, they're all criminals because they crossed the border illegally. It goes back to the most basic logical flaw of like, oh, it's illegal, therefore it must be immoral. They always fall back to that. You will never have an immigration argument with anybody who's anti-immigration without them falling back to, oh, it's illegal, so it must be immoral, which is just plainly stupid. Because once you provide the data of like, oh yeah, this isn't true. Once you provide the data of like, oh yeah, no, it actually helps wages. Oh yeah, they actually pay more in taxes than they take in resources. Oh yeah, we should deport them because of traffic. Oh, you don't want babies to be born. Once you disprove all of that, they always fall back to, okay, well then they should have come here legally then. Because they did something illegal, therefore they did something bad. And they never prove why coming to a foreign country is immoral, because you can't, because borders aren't something in nature. There is nothing moral or immoral about borders, and I'm surprised that immigration is such a pressing issue when borders are something that is so unnatural. So I think I've gone on for too long. Thank you guys for listening. Hi, thanks for watching this video. Before you go, I just wanted to remind you to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it and you want to see more. Like I said, it goes a long way for me and it only takes a second for you. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing.